My family's into music.
Yeah, Mr. Man, saw me your woes. Take the first step, amen, and tell me just how it goes. I said, trouble ahead. You just have to stay on your toes.
My father's been playing music in Toronto since 1955. It's been sort of the family tradition, and it's what we all do. My brother Dwayne, my brother Corey, my brother Robert. We all play music, and we all sort of grew up playing with my father.
All right, are we gonna start? Yeah, I got another squeal, man. Got another squeal. Check, check. Anyways, thanks for guys for coming down. Thanks for coming out. My name is Brooke. We're hanging out here at Band, Black Artists, Networks, and Dialogue. I did it right first time. That's good. Yeah. And my name is Brooke. Like I say, I write music. That song I just played there is a song called Lullaby. I wrote it many years ago. And I recorded it, but never really did much with it. So I think I recorded it at a studio that we used to have in Malton, Mississauga. And then I took it home, and I always played two parts in it, two guitar parts. I brought it home and I worked on it, just as things. So I'm going to record this on my next record. And I think I'll call it Blue Lullaby because it's kind of a blues record. So what I do is I'm a singer-songwriter. I play in a band called the Bentley Collective and also play in a band called Blackburn with my brothers Dwayne, Corey, and my brother Robert writes the songs for it. And my history in Toronto is my father's been playing in Toronto since 1955, playing the blues and rock and roll on Yonge Street, and music all the way through Canada and touring in Canada, some of the roughest places in Canada back in the day, and toured all the way up to Alaska and back. And we started playing when I was about 13, and then I played in a reggae band when I was 15 called 20th Century Rebels. It used to be around back in the day, so I've been around a long time. So I'm going to do some original music for you. And it all is kind of stuff about my roots in Canada, and my family came from the Underground Railroad back in the mid-1800s and ended up in Owen Sound, Ontario, or just south of there, a place called Holland Center. So I'm going to start with a little bit of blues. For my sweet lady, nothing that I wouldn't do. I walk through fine high rocks, lady, just to prove that I love you. You know I'm hard, blind I cannot see. Treat a woman right, whatever will be, will be. You know I've learned my lesson, studied hard in school. Learn all your teaching, lady, I'm no fool. You treat me mean, you treat me oh so mean. Put your hands in my pocket, leave me the blue in my lonely days. on me. I love you. You treat me oh so mean. Put your hands in my pockets. Leave me the blue on my lonely dream. Thank you very much. A little bit of blues.
I've been playing in Toronto since I was about 15, playing live. First club date in downtown Toronto was the Horseshoe Tavern, and with a band called 20th Century Rebels, reggae band from back in the day. Late 70s, actually. They signed me out of school in order to do the sound check. Literally, my cousins, they had to come, Nathan came up to my school and signed him out, and I literally had to leave about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I thought they were going to drive me downtown, but I literally had my amplifier, 2 guitars on my back, and I had to take the bus downtown. So that was interesting, but never forgot that one.
And hello, Facebook Live and Zoom Live and all the lives out there. What's happening? Beautiful to see you on this beautiful evening. Kicking live in Toronto, Ontario, Parkdale. I wrote this song. It's okay if I play in the key of E. I very rarely play in this key, but it's kind of cool. I wrote the song about the first black postman in Toronto with my brother over here, Dean. Yeah, he said, Brooke, man, we're doing this play about this guy named Albert Jackson. Can you write some music? I said, all right, man. I'm cool. I never really wrote for a play before. So I wrote this song called The Postman's Opus. Lady friend, her name is Samantha, helped me out with the words also. Now is the time to celebrate. All that you have done led us to be free. Here is the place for us to sail. Memories of your walk into time. Let us show you the way. And let us sing today. Now is the time for us to be Thank you, my friend, for all you've done. There will be now a street in your name. Oh, I said, please let us show you. Now is the time. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. So sweet. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. So sweet. So sweet. So what's the way? Yeah, Postman's Opus.
Yeah, so my music starts from then, and then I started playing with a band that I had called Hot Sauce. We used to play around Toronto. We used to back different singers, which was good for us to get basically the basis of R&B, playing with all these different singers, doing a lot of the Aretha Franklin stuff and the Shaka Khan stuff, James Brown and Al Green and all the soul music. I grew up playing that. After that, playing that for about 15 years. My baby brother, Corey, got old enough sort of to play in the bars. So he was about 15, 16. And he'd been playing with my dad, basically, working out with my dad on drums, since my dad's an organ player, since he was about 13. And then I talked to my brother, Dwayne, who was kind of playing with him more. And I said, is he ready? And he said, yeah, he's ready. So we started playing out at Mississauga, a club called Allison's Restaurant. Played out there for about 3 years on the weekends, a place where my father had previously played. My mom's house had a 3-car garage, and we transformed it into a studio, and we built our own studio. And then we started a band called Blackburn. We have about 5 recordings now, 5 records. I recorded my own record about 3-4 years ago, and I basically did a bunch of originals that were kind of not so much Blackburn, but more me. So in the sort of the folky, kind of soul folk kind of category, songs that were just a little bit too, a little acoustic guitar for Blackburn, because we're more, kind of funky kind of thing.
Yeah, Mr. Man, show me your woes. Take the first step, amen. Now tell me just how it goes. I see trouble ahead. You just have to stay on your own soul. Well, now leading away, my brother. Where it takes you, God only knows. Paid your dues. Thank you for all you've done. So now we can sing your blues. I say trouble ahead. You just have to stay on your toes. Well, now leading away, my brother. Where it takes you, God, oh. Making your rounds from door to door. Stay on your present ride. Sit past the present show. I say trouble ahead. You just have to stay on your toes. Well, now leading away, my brother. Where it takes you, God only knows. Yeah, Mr. Man, show me your woes. Take the first step, amen. Now tell me just how it goes. I said trouble ahead. You just have to stay on your toes. Well, now lead the way, my brother. Where it takes That's the B-side to the Postman's Opus. This is nice. It's called Hey, Mr. Man. And like I say, that takes me to, I'll tell you the story about that. The mother of Albert Jackson, she was from Delaware. And she was a mother of, I believe, 9 children. And she was told by her slave master at the time that she had to get rid of 2 of her kids. And her husband was free. He was a free man. And she had to literally, they took 2 of her kids away. And she said, I can't do this. That's it. I've had enough. And she decided to travel north with her kids as a runaway slave from Delaware. Traveled through the countryside, because all there was back then was countryside, and hooked up through the Underground Railroad, which was a chain of people that helped out runaway slaves coming from the south to the north, and basically ended up in Toronto or across. Basically, there's Buxton, there's Windsor, all the places across the border from around the Detroit area. And my family also came through there from Kentucky and came up through there. So Albert Jackson was one of her sons. She ended up in Toronto and stayed at a guy named Thornton and Lucy Blackburn, their house. Now, I don't know if they're related to us. I'm not exactly sure, but their connection, they're also from Kentucky. But my name that came from Kentucky is not Blackburn. My name coming from Kentucky is Earls. And so, but there was 3 brothers, I was told by the person who wrote the book about Albert Jackson, and about Thornton and Lucy Blackburn, I should say. And she told me that there was 3 brothers Blackburn, and 2 of them went to the West Indies, and one of them stayed in Kentucky, or 2 stayed in Kentucky, and 1 went to the West Indies. And my family, my Blackburn name is from a place called Montserrat. And in Montserrat, Blackburn was a big name. And so that's where my name came. Now, I don't know if the name was from the brothers of the slaves. I'm not exactly sure. But it's a very prominent name in Montserrat and also Kentucky at that time. So I don't know, like I say, if we're related at all. But Thornton and Lucy Blackburn were 2 people that started the first cab company, not the first black-owned cab company, the first cab company in Toronto. And they were also people who they came over here, bounty hunters came over here and grabbed them and took them across the Detroit River. And if you ever heard of the Detroit riots, was because of the bounty hunters were doing this, and the people they back in the day said, no, you can't do this. Yet they were runaway slaves, but they said, no, you can't do this. They're free people. They came up here, they're free. And they stopped the bounty hunters and they rioted in Detroit. And then the Canadian government stepped in and said, no, you can't take this as a prominent Canadian citizen, and you can't take him. So that's a little bit of that history about Albert Jackson. And I think that's about it, right, Dean? Anything else I'm missing? I think that's about it. And so she, like I said, went through the woods, with her kids, 7 kids, because they took 2 away. And the father went nuts. He went absolutely crazy. He couldn't take the fact that they were taking 2 of his kids, and he was a free man, and they took 2 of his kids. So he ended up spending most of his life in an insane asylum, unfortunately. And I don't blame him for feeling that way, back in the day. But yeah, so that's the song, Hey, Mr. Man, and the one before that was Postman's Opus. And the one before that I also wrote, it's called Blue Jeans Blues. So now we're going to make it, let's see. Now I talked about my family a little bit, about how we came up through the Underground Road from Kentucky, and I talked about the connection in Montserrat. So I'll do this song called Talk to Me. It's a song I wrote with my brother Dwayne. I was playing a gig in Mississauga, and I came and said, Dwayne, man, check these chords out. I forget who was on bass. So I did this C minor. So I started with this, and like I say, I play with my brothers. So I started going like this. I want you to talk to me. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like you talk to your brother. Talk to me like you talk to your brother. Talk to me like you talk to your brother. I said 1868, the Blackburn family had to celebrate, busting down the chains of slavery, feeling free like a man should be. Hooked up with the underground, respect the freedom that we have found. So brother, don't abuse the freedom they have and the freedom to choose. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Let me tell you now. I said, brother, brother, well, alright. Are you my guiding light? Show me a better way for all to live another day. Just be free, just be strong. Let our power lead you on to the promised land. I'll tell you one more time. I said 1848, Blackburn family had to celebrate, busting down the chains of slavery, feeling free like a man should be. Hooked up with the underground, respect the freedom that we have found. So brother, don't abuse the freedom they have and the freedom to choose. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Brother, well, alright. Are you my guiding light? Show me a better way for all to live another day. Just be free, just be strong. Let our power lead you on to the promised land. Let me tell you one more time. I said 1848, the Blackburn family had to celebrate, busting down the chains of slavery, feeling free like a man should be. Hooked up with the underground, respect the freedom that we have found. So brother, don't abuse the freedom they have and the freedom to choose. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Oh, I said, talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me like I talk to your brother. Talk to me. Yeah. So that tells a little bit about the history there.
Most songs that I write and songs that I can relate to are basically from my experiences. My family came from the Underground Railroad, basically, from Kentucky. And we came up here basically in the mid-1800s and settled at a place called Holland Center, which is just south of Owen Sound. And actually, I just drove through it about 2 hours ago. Just drove through Holland Center on my way back from my parents who lived farther north than that. So they settled there, and there's a whole community of black people basically that settled in there and then moved up to Owen Sound. And my grandmother's family, my grandmother's mother and father had 13 kids in Owen Sound. So they were a big part of the community in Owen Sound. Before, Owen Sound was a city then, but when they settled there, and they have a picnic called the Emancipation Picnic in Owen Sound, and that wasn't a city prior to that. So that the black contribution to that area is very very honored. And actually, there's a thing called the Bruce Museum, and it has a section for my family. Yeah, so if you go north of Owen Sound, a town called, I think it's Rockford, you make a left off of Highway 10, and you see the Bruce Museum there, the Gray Bruce Museum. And you'll see, if you go in there, you'll see a section of my family that's been up there for 150 some odd years. As runaway slaves, Elias Earls from Kentucky came up and settled in that area.
This song comes with a quiz, okay? This is a Toronto history quiz. This is about my father back in 1955. Played the blues since 1955. Don't have no time to want to hear your jive. I got to say, I did it my own way. Grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got. Sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane, carry people to the moon, did it my way. I did it my way. Lived through some times, some wars, some political conflictions, beef and bacon wrongs, some songs, some strange decisions, people out of work, no money, black power to the people, shut down the arrow, closed the factories, looked up to the steeple, grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got, sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane, carry people to the Mona, did it my way, I did it my way. Every time I wake up, I got the world by the string. I don't know why, but I'm blessed to do my thing. Oh yeah, I did it my way. Grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got. Sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane, carry people to the corner, did it my way. My way. Sometimes, some wars, some political constrictions, beef and bacon wrongs, some songs, some strange decisions, people out of work, no money, black power to the people, shut down the arrow, closed the factories, looked up to the steeple, grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got, sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane, carry people to the morning. Grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got. Sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane, carry people to the corner. Did it my way. I did it my way. Did it my way. Did it my way. Okay, yeah, that's a song called Bobby's Blues. Thank you. That's from my father, Mr. Bobby Dean Blackburn. Now, the quiz that I have for this is very simple. There's two parts in it. Grew up on the streets, play pool to eat, got what I got, sometimes I fight, newsy on the corner, hurricane. I'm talking about a hurricane. And all you people on Facebook and all that live business, you ask me, answer this question also. There was a hurricane in 1954. What was it called? Something, Hurricane something. Hurricane Hazel. Karen gets a prize. Hurricane Hazel. That's right. 1954. My father was a air cadet, and he used to have to go into and rescue people out of their houses back then. And up in North York, because he lived on the Humber River, and the Humber River overflowed, as it did a few years back. Okay, and the next question is, live through some time, some wars, some political conflictions, people make it wrong, some tongues, some strange decisions, people out of work, no money, black power to the people, shut down the arrow. If I'm talking about the arrow, I'm talking about something that was made back in, I'm not sure when it was, the 50s, 60s, I'm not exactly sure, but it was a plane when Diefenbaker was in charge, and it was something Arrow. The name of the company was something Arrow, and it was an airplane. What was that? Avro Arrow. There we go. We got prize for number 2 over here. Prize number 2 goes to this fine young gentleman over here. Yes, that's right, Avro Arrow. So I wrote that stuff because I grew up around that area, and I write about things that are in my perspective in life. And playing with my father since I was about 15 is in my perspective. I worked at the airport too at one point as a bartender. My mom got me the gig. She worked there for a year. First female bartender at the airport.
Since the COVID broke in Toronto, I've been basically at home. So I have a little studio in my house, and I'm a songwriter by trade. I've written probably 6 or 7 songs since the beginning of COVID. I just released one called Good Morning, and that one was basically about looking at life after COVID. Like soon as the day we wake up and we realize that we have to go back into the world and do our jobs and play music and do whatever, but to see the world as it is now and what's going on in the world.
I'm a guitar player by trade, so I play piano to write music. This song I wrote is called Good Morning. It's on YouTube right now. If you look up Brooke Blackburn on YouTube. I want to live my life with all my people. We need to change the world and make this a better place. Will the world be the same? I don't know, but I think we have a chance to survive for today, for tomorrow. As I look out my window and I see life start to grow as it was back in the day. Do you remember how to say, come on now? I said, good morning, good morning. Wake up and see about a day. I said, good morning, good morning. The sun shines over the bay today. As I look out my window and I see life start to grow time. You repeat after me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up and see a brighter day. I said, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun shines over the bay. One more time. I said, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up and see a brighter day. Sing it to me one more time. I said, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun shines over the bay. One more time. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up and see a brighter day. Oh, sounds so good to me. Won't you sing it one more time, everybody? Good morning, good morning. The sun shines over the bay today. Yeah, all right. That sounds good morning. Yeah. That's an original song that I wrote through COVID this time. Thank you. That was so nice, Karen. So nice.
I like the fact that the young people are really taking charge. You know what I mean? Young people are really taking charge. There's always been police brutality towards black people. There have always been situations when black people have been centered out. I remember when my father, when we were young, we used to play hockey, okay? And there was a kid that got into a fight outside our hockey rink. And people were calling him the N-word and calling him all these names. And he was a black kid, obviously. And he got into a fight. And he ended up, I think there was 2 or 3 of them. And one guy was in front of him and he punched him or hit this other kid or hit them, whatever he did. And then the person who was against him, one of the people that were against him, he got hit and then he got sick and then he ended up choking and he passed away. So the kid who was the black kid that was just defending himself got charged with, I think, attempted murder or something like that. And he had 3 or 4 guys after a hockey game coming on to him, you know what I mean, going to hurt him or kill him or whatever. So that and then my father did a benefit concert for this kid, you know what I mean, and it was, but that was like way back in I'd say that was probably in the mid 70s, or maybe mid 70s. So there's been so much, you know, of that to grow up with and seeing the racism that's here. But again, it's and the word of the day seems to be systemic. So it's like they learned it from their parents, who learned it from their parents, and then I think that's where it starts.
This next song I'm gonna do is a song that I wrote for a very good friend of mine that passed away after playing with him, and he taught me so much about jazz improvisation and jazz history and jazz in Canada. No, it's actually a guy named Connie Maynard.
Yes,
I played with, you know Connie? Yeah, I wrote this one for Connie, and I played with Connie for many years before he passed away. But I dedicated also to Washington Savage and Dave Williams and all my friends that have gone to the other side. Get a little volume on this. Do you remember the time we sat and had wine? Philosophy we both shared. We reminisce the past. You made the music last. Whoa, a present from a friend. said, I will never forget the times we had the music, oh my friend. Playing jazz in a smoky bar, your piano, my guitar, felt the magic in the air. From your smile I knew, oh, that the music was true. Didn't want the night to end. I said I will never forget the times we had the music, oh my friend. Now I sit down and play, thinking of the times we had, sharing my music and praise. My memories will never ever fade. I said I will never forget the time we had the music, oh my friend. Playing jazz in a smoky bar, your piano, my guitar, felt the magic in the air. From your smile I knew, oh, that the music was true. Didn't want the night to end. I said I will never forget the time we had the music, oh my friend. Now I sit down and play, thinking of the time we had, sharing my music and praise. My memories will never ever fade. I said I will never forget the time we had the music, oh the time we had the music, the time we had the music, oh my friend, oh my friend. Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. Yeah, a song called Friends. Thank you. Yeah.
If you come home from school and you say, oh, I've got a friend at school, a new child at school that came from the islands or came from Africa or came from another place where they have predominantly black people, and your parents say, oh, that's a bad thing, or whatever it is, he's not like you, and so and so. Or if your parents say, that's beautiful, tell me about him. Who is this child? And tell me about where they came from. Did you learn anything about the culture? Where they came from? Then you're gonna have an open mind to say, oh, it's just not, he might look different than I am, but he is like me, or she is like me. And I think that's where systemic racism comes from the parents. And I never was taught racism. I was taught love and peace and happiness, towards white people, towards Asian people, towards people all over the world. You know what I mean? And so I was faced with racism because of my skin color, you know what I mean? But it never was that. And now what's happening, black people have just had enough, especially in the States, they just had enough of this killing and this brutality, and nobody is responsible for what they do to black people. It's like they could just do it for no reason, or for the reason that they feel superior, and get away with it. And that's the problem, they've been getting away with it for too long. You get a spoiled child and you tell that child that you go ahead, oh, I'm sorry, you just, just go in the corner or whatever, and don't ever discipline that child. And that child's gonna grow up thinking that anything they do is okay. And this is the problem with the police department in the United States, you know, and here too. But, you know, what's happening with the murders and stuff like that, and murders here too, you know, and it's just that you have to be, they have to get a little bit of repercussions for what they do.
Do you remember a long time ago when we were kids playing by the road? I remember that day that you came along. Bless our family. You were born a golden child, built from strong stuff, not afraid of the wild. I remember that day that you came along. Bless our family. Oh, my brother, talking about four brothers, all strong in separate ways. Four brothers, those were the days. Those were the days. I remember a long time ago, I sold you to my friends down the road. You know what? I sold them my brother, just a baby boy. Bless our family. Oh, I'm talking about four brothers, all strong in separate ways. Yeah, talking about four brothers. Those were the days. Those were the days. I now we're older, playing in the band. You and your brothers like playing in the sand. I remember that day that you came along. Bless our family. Well, I'm talking about four brothers, all strong in separate ways. I'm talking about four brothers. Those were the days. Those were the days. I'm talking about four brothers, all strong in separate ways. Talking about four brothers. Those were the days. Those were the days. Four brothers there for you. Yeah, thank you. I wrote that song for my younger brother, Corey. Like I said earlier, I play in a band called Blackburn. And Blackburn consists of my brother, Dwayne Blackburn, on piano and vocals, my brother, Corey Blackburn, on drums, my brother, Robert Blackburn, who writes music for the band, and my name is Brooke Blackburn, and Andrew Stewart on bass, Neil Brathwaite on horn, Ted Peters on trombone. Playing around Toronto for many, many years, and myself and my brothers, we recorded about 5 CDs. This is our 5th CD, and I've recorded one called the Bentley Collective Songs. And our 4th CD, let me see. Survival, Inner, I think Brotherhood, and then Brothers in This World is an album that we got nominated for a Juno for. I think in 2015 or 16, I can't remember. Or around we released in 15, so I guess it would be the 15, 16 or 16, 17 Junos. And so we went down to Calgary and played in Calgary, played the Juno Festival, and it was really cool. Had a great time. And we played on the street. It was very, very cool for Holger Peterson, another cat that had a radio station that we've been playing for many, many years out there. And so we played the blues from Toronto in Calgary and the world for the Junos. So one of the songs on that record. I was telling Karen earlier, I just came back from the States. I was in the States, well, not just came back, but before COVID, I was in the States touring from Memphis went to Nashville overnight. We didn't play in Nashville, then we ended up in Alabama. We played in Alabama, and then we played in Kentucky first, and then we played in Alabama, and then we went down to New Orleans, played there for about 5 days, came back to Memphis and played the IBC's festival. And so I was down there, and the first time I played the IBC Festival, I was there with my brothers. This time I went down there with a beautiful singer called Shakura Saida out of Toronto, but via Brooklyn. And she's a great blues singer, and I had the pleasure of touring with her this time down as a guitar player. And we played this nice show in Memphis. It was really cool with 4 great singers. And so we did that, and first time I was in Memphis, I loved to walk through Memphis. I walked all the way through Memphis with my brothers, and unfortunately we went to see the history of the Lorraine Hotel. If anybody knows what that is, that's the hotel that Martin Luther King was shot in Memphis, and it was pretty heavy. And so we actually didn't even go. They have a civil rights museum that's hooked up to it. We didn't even go in. We just sat out front. And we looked at where they still have the Cadillacs there, and the room, everything is pristine, just like the day that, unfortunately, when Martin Luther King was shot. And we just sat there, and the heavy presence was just like overwhelming that day. And I remember it, and never forget it. And like I say, I don't think we could go through the Civil Rights Museum because we just sat there and took in that moment with my brothers, which was really heavy. So I came back to Toronto. And I wrote a song about walking through places that I've never been. And I had never been to New Orleans prior to that. And so we were down in New Orleans this time. And actually, I sang the song when we got to Memphis. I didn't sing it in New Orleans. But when we were in Alabama, I sang a song that Blackburn does called Sister Rosa. And it just happened to be in Montgomery, Alabama, where Sister Rosa is from and where they had the boycott. And also sang that at an after hours in Montgomery and the day of Martin Luther King's birthday. So that was kind of cool. So it all kind of ties in. And then we went to Memphis, and then I sang this song called I Want to Walk in New Orleans, which I wrote before I got to New Orleans. I haven't played this one in a while, so try to remember the words. I wanna walk in New Orleans. Listen to the band strut, baby, strutting to the beat. Down by the bayou, down in New Orleans. I wanna walk in Memphis, down on Beale Street. Listen to the blues I said, people low, with everyone I meet. Down on Beale Street. Well, the blues overtakes, makes me wanna skip a beat, makes me feel like moving in your seat. Might wanna jump, shake your hips and swing. Listen to that band, do that funky thing, alright, baby. Down on Bourbon Street, straight through Memphis, Lord, Lord, down in New Orleans. Well, I was raised in the North, raised on a reel to read. father plays the blues, yes he does. Always a real deal. Down on Young Street. All right, come on. I wanna walk in New Orleans. See the band strutting, baby, strutting to the beat. Down on Frenchman Street. Well, the blues overtakes, makes my heart skip a beat, makes it feel like moving in your seat. Might wanna jump, shake your hips and swing, listen to that band, do that funky thing, alright, baby. Down on Bourbon Street, straight through Memphis, Lord, down to New Orleans. I said, oh, down on Bourbon Street, straight through Memphis, Lord, down to New Orleans. Straight through Memphis, Lord, down to New Orleans. Straight through Memphis, Lord, down to New Orleans. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was born in Toronto, and back in 1963. Okay, so we moved to Brampton. I was just talking to my parents about this. I was about 1.5, and I remember growing up in Brampton, Ontario, just for a short time in my life, like for about maybe 6-7 years. And I remember we had signs in front of our house. First of all, we're a black family in Brampton, and my grandparents were one of the first black families in Brampton, okay? Literally the first black family, I believe, to own a home, okay? And they literally protested against my parents, wrote a petition to get my parents out. And my grandmother said, oh yeah, you want me out? I'm gonna run for municipal, run for municipal government. And she didn't win, but they got the idea, you can't mess with this woman. You know what I mean? So, and my grandfather was a little bit more reserved, but my grandmother was not reserved. You know what I mean? A very outspoken, strong, Canadian black woman. And also came from the country, it's so tough. So she's like, no, you can't tell me. And so when we lived there, we had peace, love, and happiness. These signs about maybe 3 feet off the ground, maybe 3 by, say, 2 feet. And so my parents were kind of hippie-like. My father was a musician. My mother was in the hotel business. So it's like, okay, hippies, black people on top of it, in Brampton, a very conservative town, and my mother's white. So the mix of a mixed family, kids with curly hair, dark skin, you know what I mean? So, and everybody would stare, and oh my gosh, my father would just lose his mind when everybody stared at us,
Like I said, I'm 56, and I was born in Toronto, raised in Mississauga, came downtown in the 80s. I'm pretty sure this was the 80s for a protest. And this protest was to free Nelson Mandela. So I don't know if you guys were there. I don't know if you guys were old enough to be there, but I was there, and it was to stop apartheid in South Africa and free Nelson Mandela. And then I came home that evening. I watched a movie called Cry Freedom about Stephen Biko, who was a civil rights activist in South Africa. And so I wrote this song after that, listened to it, and put the words together, a song called Africa. Tell me that Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. Take a look outside your door. Why don't you care? Think of all the children ignored, the burdens they bear. Yeah. I don't know why there is starvation and greed. Somebody tell me now. Standing side by side in an African village, I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. Consciousness of our people, souls to be heard. Raise your hands in an African tribal way. Yeah. Together, all the people, they cry for freedom. And said it's time for conclusions. Raise your hands in His kingdom. There's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said, tell me, tell me, tell me, future, future love. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me that there's future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight it. Listen to the call. I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time for to fight as one. Listen to the call. Take a look outside your door. Why don't you care? Think of all the children ignored, the burdens would bear. I don't know why there is starvation and greed. Somebody tell me now. Standing side by side in an African village, there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said there's a future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said, tell me, tell me, tell me, future, future love. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me that there's future to see. Listen to the words of the child in me. Tell me that there's a time to fight as one. Listen to the call. I said, listen to the call. Listen to the call. A future, future to see. Listen to the call. Thank you. A song called Africa. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't too many black families in Brampton at the time when I grew up. Then we moved to Mississauga, and that was like an eye-opener for me. I had backup, because me and my brothers were basically each other's backup, and my brother's 2.5 years older than me, and he backed me up a lot, and literally in certain situations. And then when I moved to Toronto, I had my cousins here, and moved to Mississauga, it was like, okay. And just, you're talking about, 15 kilometers away. Maybe 15, 20, not even say 15, 17 kilometers away. But the world is changing because that was so close to Rexdale. You know what I mean? Moulton, Ontario, and then Rexdale kind of right beside each other. So you had a little bit of the urban influence, And then we grew up there, and we grew up there musically.
All right, I'm going to get a little lighter. As I've been talking about, there's another song I was going to write, I was going to sing called Heroes. I haven't played it in a long time. It's the first song I recorded during the COVID sessions. And it's about the senior citizens. And the reason why I wrote it was because I was watching the news, and I saw people that their parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles were behind the glass, and they couldn't get to them. And they weren't allowed to go in and take them home or whatever. And that was just so heartbreaking. So I wrote a song called Hero. You have shown us what we needed to learn. Practice your parts, play from the heart. I said, you are my hero. You are part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. From then till now, part of my Canadian song. Singing a song, taken from you. With a vengeance, respect my descendants. Practice around your love, it's so simple. You are my hero. You are part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. From then till now, part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. You are part of my Canadian song. You are my hero, from then till now, part of my career. Now here we are singing this song for you, keeping the groove. People will move, clapping their hands, oh, the people stand. I want you to know that I thank you for all you've done. Care for my brother, sisters and mothers. Care for my father's brothers, sisters and mothers. You are my hero. You are part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. From then till now. Can you guys help me out here? I said, you are my hero. You can sing that? You are my hero. Can I hear you sing? Come on, guys. Yeah, just sing that. You are my hero. Talking about all our fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers. You are my hero. I can't hear you, man. Come on. You are my hero. That's it. A little bit louder. You are my hero. That's it. Come on now. You are my hero. From then till now. You are my hero. You are my hero. My Canadian song. You are my hero. From then till now, you are my hero, part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. You are my hero. Oh, I know you are. You are my hero. From then till now, you are my hero. I said, you are my hero. Oh, reggae. You are my hero. Come on. You are my hero. I said you're my hero. You are my hero. From then till now. You are my hero. my Canadian song. You are my hero from then till now. Part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. You are part of my Canadian song. You are my hero. I said now. You are my hero. You are my hero. I said I know. You are my hero. Talking about all the senior citizens. You are my hero. You taught me what I needed to learn. You are my hero. You taught me to play some blues. You are my hero. Taught me to play some funk. You are my hero. Taught me to play some jazz. You are my hero. Taught me to play some rock and roll. Taught me. You are my hero. Ah, thank you for having us here at band. My hero. We love you. Thank you for having Brooke Blackburn hang out with you this evening. You are my hero. You are my hero. Black Artists Networks in Dialogue. You are my hero from then till now. Part of my Canadian song. Yeah. I think I messed up in the beginning of that. I apologize, everybody, but I haven't played the song in a long, long time since I wrote it. And I've never played it live. That's the first time I ever played it live. So I wish I knew it better. But anyways, see that quick move. I had to move my phone because my phone was covering the words. See, that was slick. That was slick, man. Oh, now Siri's on. No, sorry, Siri.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
We totally have to do this again, Brooke.
Oh, anytime.